Hi everyone, happy Wisdom Wednesday. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about female communities and gathering with our fellow female friends. And this particular video I'm putting up because I spent my Sunday morning and afternoon with three really beautiful women inside and out here in my new community and city of Guelph. And I've been really blessed because I came here kind of with a built-in community. One of the women I know from my post-grad, and we haven't seen each other in about 10 years. So it's kind of been a really fun reunion, and it turns out we still have lots in common, even though what we were doing then is not what we're doing now. We are doing kind of the same kind of healing type things and wellness, the wellness world. And then another woman I know from actually online on Facebook. So I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, but and social media, but I do find it helps for connecting with people, which I guess it was sort of its original intent. And I do know this woman I did take one of her classes in Toronto, her yoga classes, and she just moved here and I met her through a Facebook group. So, and then the other one I also met through her Facebook yoga group that she created for Guelph. So really cool. And this is partly why I want to post this, but it's something that I've had on my mind for the last little while, for the last few weeks, and just kind of observing what goes on with and what's been happening with women's circles, feminine empowerment, female empowerment circles, and what's going on with wellness and women. And what I'm kind of noticing, and I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, it's just sort of an observation. I'm still kind of on the fence because I know that the reality is that there are a lot of women waking up to the reality that they want to work in service to their own female community or female identified community, and they want to obviously live abundantly, financially mainly, and do well for themselves doing this. However, I think that sometimes that gets lost in translation, or not even lost in translation, but it gets, I think we forget what it means to really embody being a sister or being a fellow friend, female friend to another female colleague or woman in your community. And so what I've kind of been noticing is, and I actually did this. I held women's circles for a few months, for I think maybe around 5 or 6 months a couple of years ago. And I was charging for them. And, I do understand that sometimes these circles offer services, and they offer maybe Reiki, or they offer movement, and they offer different kind of wellness services. However, I also see women hosting circles where you basically go and you talk and you connect on things, and then there's always like a buy-in somehow, like you have to pay in just to kind of connect with other women. And I'm a little wary of that. I'm a little wary of like where there's some sort of scheme where in order to develop a community of female friends and friends that are also in tune with where you're at on that wellness journey, you basically have to pay in. And anyone kind of selling that, I think we need to be really careful of our narrative, even if you are offering a service but you're also saying, well, if you do this training, you're also going to have this new community of female friends. And I think we also need to be aware of just creating friendships very organically and connecting to women. And we can do this so many ways. We can do this by, using social media and supporting our other friends' work because we want to, not because we're getting anything out of it. We still work within that, like I've been speaking in another video, but in that patriarchal realm or container and system where we have to give to get back. And I think it's really important to also just slowly over time develop a community of friends, maybe through just activities or through something that you're interested in doing. For me, it's wellness, it's yoga, it's movement, it's even been snowboarding. I'm thinking of taking up mountain biking, and who knows who I'll meet through that. So I think we have to keep in mind that, like, if we're constantly paying into something, or we're being told that, like, if you come to my circle, or if you join my, like, pyramid scheme or whatever it is, you'll have this instant new community of women to help mentor you and be your friend. And I think that that's not right. I think that we also need to just be friends to people and just connect with people without trying to get something back. And especially as women, like, we have been trained in this patriarchal system to compete with each other and to work within a capitalist framework where there's constantly money involved and a financial gain of some kind. And I just want to remind us as sisters to just be there for your friends and do things that don't involve a lot of money. Have dinner with each other, have lunch, go out for coffee. If you see a friend or a sister that is really wanting to be part of a wellness community, and the only way you think she might be able to is through paying in or buying into something, maybe take a look and say, hey, no, part of me also just wants to include this person. I want to be inclusive. So be inclusive. Include her in the things you're doing. Connect her with other female friends without her having to, like, pay in to that community. And I stopped doing women's circles. I may do them again one day. And who knows, maybe I will charge for them. But outside of that, I will also make sure that I maybe hold a free event, or I just go out and have brunch with a bunch of female friends and have people over to my house and go for a walk and go to other events with them and do things that don't cost money. It's important. It's important I'm not saying this like it's totally important for women to receive what they're worth and to charge for the things that they are trained in. Just like anyone else, I think that we totally deserve to charge for our services. But if it starts to get down to, like, well, to make a community, you need to, like, pay for a women's circle and, like, $50 to $100 to go to a women's circle, maybe find a way to make friends outside of that. And maybe, email or question the person running the circle and say, hey, like, is there any way we could also meet up together without me having to pay into the circle? I'd also like to just make new friends in this new place I'm in or wherever it is. So being aware that, it's also really important to create community that way. And I know in my own life, this has been extremely valuable, of, like, taking the time out of my busy day. When I lived in Toronto, it was very hard to meet up with friends. I had friends and still have those friends who live all over the city. And I really had to make an effort to get on the subway and go and meet them and do things with them that didn't involve some sort of, like, financial service. And I think if I do ever run events again with women, I will, try to make them as affordable as possible. Or, like I said, I'll run them, but I'll also just hang out with those people on my own time and just hang and get to know them in a very organic way. That's my Wisdom Wednesday video for today. Just a little bit of some thoughts about what it means to truly be a sister to another fellow female in the community, what it means in this wellness world that can be very misconstrued and very under the spotlight of patriarchy and kind of get wrapped up in the patriarchal system without us even realizing it is, where it's a go mentality, I gotta make more money kind of mentality. Let's also try to pause and just be there for people. That's truly what community means. Community does not necessarily mean if you buy into this scheme, I will be your friend. It should also just be reaching out to someone when they need you. And in turn, you will find that, like, lots of people will come back your way as well and will want to naturally and organically be there for you and include them in whatever they're doing. So That's it for today. I hope that was helpful. I'd love to know your insights. I'd love to know what you think about that. Always open to dialogue and discussion. And I hope you have a beautiful week. Ciao.